The deadlock continues today in Chicago, where Mayor Lori Lightfoot has issued a, quote, best and final offer in the long shutdown with the teachers' unions against the city there. They say they're not living up to their safe reopening demands. That's what the unions are saying to the city. In other cities, students now sharing personal accounts of futures at stake as the resistance to open their schools drags on. Watch this.
I feel like we were giving up on them. I feel like they gave up on us. I feel like they just kind of looked at the public school kids and was like, you know what? They're not really that important. And I just feel like it's really unfair because you work so hard for your senior year and it just gets taken away from you. You wake up in the morning, you just look at the screen from the morning till 3 o'clock, and that's basically school. And I feel like that's not enough. Virtual school is not real school.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, that is heartbreaking. That young man from Frederick Douglass Academy speaking out, saying he feels like everybody forgot about him and forgot about his future. Let's bring in Leo Terrell, constitutional attorney and also former teacher and Fox News contributor. Sir, great to have you with us today. What goes through your mind when you watch that young man speak honestly to the leaders of his city about school?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on your program, Martha. First time I've been on your program. Glad to be on. As a former school teacher, it hurts. Let me tell you right now, here's a kid in a public school basically saying that the teachers and the politicians do not care about them. He's absolutely right. 12th grade is the most important year for college choices, taking the SAT. And I'll tell you, Martha, the problem is very simple. You got the teacher union and the Democratic leadership in bed with each other. And bottom line is they care about power and control. This is the same teacher union that do not want school choice. School choice is the key to break the poverty cycle. Yesterday, I saw your program with the mayor, Lori Lightfoot, in Chicago, and she was crying. Those are crocodile tears, because for 6 months, if she really cares about those kids, you look at what happened in Chicago and all these Democratic cities. And isn't it ironic, Martha, in these Democratic cities, they have kept the public schools closed, but yet the private schools are open. That is the problem in L.A., where I live, in Chicago, and in these big Democratic cities. Teacher union, Democratic leadership in bed with each other. They care about power and control.
Yeah, I mean, that is the greatest example of all, right? You look side by side at these private schools and Catholic schools that, parents who have the ability to have pulled their kids out of the public school and they're sending them to these schools. But that leaves so many other children who don't have that option without an option. Here's Lori Lightfoot, who you just referred to at her press conference yesterday. Let's watch this. I want to get your thoughts on the other side.
In this difficult time, black and brown kids who look like me, coming from circumstances like the one that I grew up in, who are struggling and are failing. We are failing those children by not giving them the option to return to school. Failing grades, depression, isolation, and so much more.
And she's right about that, depression and isolation. They say they don't have enough time, don't have enough money to get this figured out. They had the whole summer, Leo, to work on this, and many schools did it.
Crocodile tears. Martha, all summer, Chicago, black on black crime, the rioting, the protesting. She's sitting here now, 9 months later, trying to gain sympathy. She was in charge all year. And I know the Democrats don't want to mention it. There was a guy named President Trump who said, open the schools up. Even Joe Biden's own CDC director says, open the schools up. The Democrats play the card of, we follow the science. The science say, open the schools up. You know what this says, Martha? The teacher unions are more powerful than the care and the welfare of the kids, and that's what has been happening in these Democratic cities. And I hope the voters wake up.
And the whole profession is supposed to be about putting the children first and the students first, but what we see is that not that at all. Before I let you go really quickly, Jen Psaki, the press secretary, sort of stepped in on that CDC director, Walensky, because she dared to say that it was okay for teachers to go back without vaccines, and she said, oh, no, she's acting in her private capacity when she says that. How could that be possible? I mean, how many hats can a person put on? She's a CDC director.
Let me think about that. It's impossible. She threw her under the bus on national TV, Martha. Did. I mean, and it's embarrassing. And she insults our intelligence to say, oh, there's a different opinion because it's her personal opinion. I don't think so, Martha. It's insulting.
And it got no attention. Every time Redfield and President Trump disagreed, it was absolutely everywhere. So I kept looking for this story in other places than here, and I really couldn't find it. Leo, I so appreciate you coming on. I hope you'll come back soon. It's nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
You bet.